Hi, my name's Keith Cooper, Northlight Images, and in today's video I'm going to have a look at a picture I took a while ago. Why this particular one? Well, somebody asked me recently, could I do some videos on some of the photos that I have prints of in my house, and why I like them, why I took them, generally why they get a space in my house. And this one is an old picture. Now, this one was taken in 1986, 87, I'm not sure, probably 87. And it was taken on one of these two cameras here. There's an OM2 and an OM2n. Now, I don't actually know which one it was taken on. Why have I got two OM2 bodies here? I used to keep one with colour film in and one with black and white film in. And this was when, it was purely a hobby long before I thought I'd take up photography professionally. And this particular picture, this one, any of you who've seen my website years gone by, this was on the front page for quite a while of the website, quite a few years ago. And it's on the Suffolk coast. It's a place called Shingle Street. Orford Castle is just up, Aldborough is just up the coast, and Southwold up beyond that. Now, why Southwold? Well, Southwold has just had the Latitude Festival here, and which is quite a widely known festival, quite a variety of stuff there, not just an out-and-out music festival. And this little house here on the beach was used in the film Yesterday, the one about the guy who's the only guy who remembers the Beatles music, whatever. Quite a nice, sweet film. Quite an enjoyable film to watch with good music in it. But this used to be marked on Google Maps as John from Liverpool's house. This is the one right at the end of the film. If you've not seen it, it's a great film if you like Beatles music. But this is it. You'll notice immediately, though, this particular, this was just a house on a beach. I like Shingle Street. Suffolk is where I grew up. My interest in skies come from visiting the coast and everything like that. But this picture marked an important turning point in my switch from film and printing. I used to have a darkroom in the house here, which I got rid of 20 odd years ago. But this picture marked an important switching point, because this was a picture that I scanned. I'd got quite a few others I took on this day. In fact, I can see in tiny detail a car of mine parked at the end here, and I can tell from the car it was a V8 3.5 litre Rover. Quite a nice car to drive around in, but I could recognise it from this. Now, this is from 35mm film. I scanned it. I produced prints in the darkroom several times of this print, and yeah, it was so-so. It wasn't until I scanned it at fairly high resolution, 4,000 DPI if I remember rightly, or PPI I should say, pixels per inch, and I scanned it at that, and I was playing around with it in Photoshop. Now this is over 20 years ago, and I cropped off the bottom, and suddenly it transformed the picture. This is a shingle beach, hence the name Shingle Street. But the picture, if you imagine this is a 35mm picture, I'll see if I can find it, and I'll cut it into the video if I can find the full scan of it. But it just had lots of beach on the front of it. And it was taken with a 24mm lens. In fact, the exact same lens that I'm filming this on now, connected via an adapter on an EOS RP. So, same lens, same field of view as you can see here. But I cropped it off there. Why? Because I suddenly found that when I cropped it off, got rid of all this extraneous foreground, I was left with an image which had its but concentrated on the sky in the distance. And that gave me a much stronger impression of how I see the scene. If I look down, I've got a beach, I've got gravel, I've got shingle, but this is looking up. And I can follow through from this, whereas now, if I was to take a similar shot on this, I would use a 24mm lens again, or that's on 35mm full frame, on the GFX 100S that I've recently got. Obviously a much squarer aspect ratio. I still might crop it, but I would be looking at using a shift of a slightly longer focal length. But this is 24mm. There's no shift. This was long before I'd even heard of things like shift lenses and tilt. So this one is just purely the camera is pointed up. So the bottom of the frame, if you imagine this is 35mm, is quite a bit. So I've cropped off quite a bit there. And it is the composition, a landscape composition I like. I've got quite a few other, I'll do some other short videos about different pictures and things and as to why I picked it. But this particular one here, the processing of the image took quite a bit of work. I'll do another video about the actual processing of the film image and also the mounting in this particular frame. This one I've immediately noticed here is rather done because I've just taken this off the wall in the house and brought it up here just for this. But a strong element I've found in some of my landscape photos is, particularly if there's an interesting sky, shove the ground down right down low. Now I would normally be tempted to use shift, and we'd get, because there is a slight lean towards the edge here of things going in because I'm pointing upwards slightly with it. But okay, is there any deeper meaning in it? Because people seem to like this sort of thing. Now I did a video a while ago and I put a link to it in the notes to this, is photographic style. Does it really matter? Should you be worried if you don't feel you've got a photographic style or you don't even know what it means? Now, I said no. There was a comment put on the video that a guy who photographs buildings or stuff shouldn't talk about such stuff, about the meaningless of photographic style and, you know, whatever. Well, yeah, fair enough. I didn't bother replying to it. I left it in. Fortunately, several other people piled into the guy and he never came back. Thank you, those who commented on it. But yeah, somebody who photographs buildings. Yeah, to me, photographing buildings, my interest in photographing buildings is connected with landscape. My way of approaching building photography is much the same as I would photograph landscape. Different scale, different lighting, all kinds of, but it's inspired by the same sort of thing. So types of images that I like doing. But this one, and say the original was in the 1980s. This particular version is about 20 odd years old. I produced a 6 foot wide version of this to go in an exhibition, had it laminated onto foam board, and yeah, I've done a recent video about the lamination process of it, but that one was shown unframed, purely because I just wanted to ask. Now you think this is film. Now, what film was it? It might have been FP4, it might have been Tri-X, I can't remember what it was. I certainly never made notes of anything like that. So it is what it is. I could probably find I got the negative somewhere, I could find it out and find out what it is, but it really doesn't matter. But in producing this, the grain is very visible. So editing is very different, but I produced a huge, great version of this because I knew it was going to be put on a wall across a balcony. Nobody would be closer to it than about 6 to 10 feet. And therefore, because I knew that, I could get away with enlarging it that big. But, you know, does it have any other? Yes, it does. This is placed just up the coast. I've not been doing so much work just of late. My father's been quite seriously ill in hospital. He's 91, so it falls into the unexpected, no, probably not really category. But yeah, I've been going down to Ipswich, and that's where I come from. And that, if I wanted an image, if somebody said, what inspires your photography? Have you got an image? You know, yeah, I'm minded to say pretentious tosh like that. But, you know, if I'm asked for it, I'll point to something like this. I've got newer ones as well, but this is the one that goes back, taken with one or other of these cameras. Probably the OM2n, I suspect, but I don't rightly know, other than knowing that the lens that I'm using for this is the lens that I shot this picture on. Anyway, I hope that's of some interest. So I'll be doing another short video on the actual more of the making, the printing, how to handle the images and things like that. But this one really is just a sort of, this is a picture in my house and this is why I like it. If you like it, thank you very much. If you don't like it, well, there you go. That's why I've got it up in my house. So thanks for watching. Please do subscribe to the channel, and if you've got questions like the one that somebody said, can I see some more pictures you've got up in your house, then please feel free to ask, because I do appreciate it and it gives me ideas for these videos, and which I hope are of interest. So thanks.